Call meeting to order.
Kelly?
Yes.
Coffee?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Cheslow?
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do not have any public comments tonight. Section 1 will be the consent agenda.
So move to approve. Second.
Call it.
Coffee?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Cheslow?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I don't think we have any unfinished business, do we?
No.
Section 3 will be new business.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2018-14, 2018 Heritage Days donation of undetermined amount so far from the hotel motel account.
Second. Discussion.
What's our balance in hotel motel?
About 20,000.
How much are we asking for?
Well, she originally asked for 10,000, but we have an ordinance that caps it at 5 or 50% of the monetary balance in the bank account. So that's why I left it blank. I was going to put 10,000 in, on the agenda, but I thought that was kind of a misnomer since we couldn't give them $10,000 at this point unless you undo that ordinance. I was trying to remember, did we give them 7,500 or was it 5 last year?
7,500. What was the balance? You said 20?
Yes.
And the ordinance is 50% of the balance.
Or 5.
Or 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then just say that it's 50% of the balance or 5,000.
How did it read? It was from 3 years ago. The way it reads is whichever is more or less. I can't remember the phrases.
I thought it was.
Whichever
I thought it was no more than 50% or 5,000. The maximum 5,000. So that it would be maximum $5,000 then.
Right.
That's my recollection of the ordinance. We'll see. Sam's got it here in a second.
Do you just do a supermajority vote and do a variance of that ordinance? Or if they chose? Or you'd have to...
They'd have to repeal that ordinance. So here we go. It reads that a maximum contribution
Shall not exceed
exceed
50%
50% or up to 5,000 of the account balance. So it's shall not exceed 50% or up to 5,000. So
That's our occurrence or year.
Okay.
that any organization be limited to one request for funding from the account within 365 days.
Let's see.
What do you guys think?
I mean, I kind of want to table it. I want to look at this a little bit more, and see if maybe we can come up with like a better number. I haven't had a whole lot of time to look at this.
Do we want to, it's up to you, it's a policy decision. Do you want to discuss that ordinance if we're going to bring the other one back?
I think we probably need to.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So maybe bring that one back and then bring the request
Let's bring it
back.
all back at the same time. We'll have to figure something out. How did we get around that last time?
But we did.
Well, that's what I'm not quite sure. I don't remember it last year, to be honest.
I think the amount was approved before this ordinance, and there was.
Well, that ordinance was put into effect before I was even on here.
Yeah, this has been on for a while. I
It was
remember
put in
doing it.
effect after our Heritage Days, I think, 2017.
Last year.
Yep. It was done before you got here, Sue.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think you approved it around the same time I was here. Last year, I mean, not this, but last year's.
Oh, okay.
The 7,500 last year I was here, but not for that.
Yeah. And then that was done when I wasn't on council.
Right on the floor.
Wasn't done while I was here.
That was,
So,
That's coming through the door.
Oh,
But
okay.
thanks.
Yeah, they come through.
Yeah.
that was done when the hotel motel was down, because I asked for that. Hotel motel was down, and we were tapping into it for everything, we had no idea what was in it.
yeah, hotel motel tax was down.
And one draw of 10,000 could have wiped out the entire fund for anybody,
Yeah, I think that's why, I'm sure that's why we did that.
which is why I asked for that when it was done.
Which makes sense. I mean, doing that to protect the funds.
Yeah,
But it's up to 20 now, so. That was the only money we expended last year was the contribution to Heritage Days.
You know, and he's right, because that's what it was.
Well, I'm sorry, that's wrong. Santa House.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had some issues not knowing the correct numbers and got all that straightened out. So I think we can bring that thing back
Yeah,
and bring it all
Make
back
all
for the next meeting.
Okay.
yeah.
I make a motion
So
to
then they
that.
can make a motion to table resolution 2018-14.
Call it.
Kelly,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Testori,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay.
Move to award the bid, Washington Street, resolution 2018-15.
Second.
Discussion?
We had a bid opening for the Water Washington project. This was last week. We only had 2 bids, but they were both very close. One was $650 and one was $641. The engineers reviewed both bids and determined that everything was as it should be. They also are of the opinion that 2 things. One, because they're so close together in the numbers, that they feel that this was still a competitive bid. That even though we didn't get 6 bids, just having 2 that close together satisfies that. They also are of the opinion that if we rebid it next, February, March, that you're not likely to get much savings. They do think the cost is a little higher because we want to get it done before the snow flies. Again, I don't know how much you're going to save pushing it off until next year. Now, we budgeted $500,000. This is out of the TIF fund, so I took a look. There are several items that we either have not done or may not do this fiscal year that adds up to close to $300,000. So that would be more than the $150 extra that we would need. And even if, let's just say we spent everything and still took another $150, we'd still almost have 50% fund balance in that TIF, which is way more than the minimum, which is 25%. You like to see no less than 25%. So it's, again, higher, but the money is in there, if that's what you want to do.
As far as the bids go, I'm not sure who else is around the league.
Well, we sent it to very specific companies, larger companies that could do all the myriad of tasks in this project within the region. So it included Autobahn, a couple of them out of Champaign, Urbana. So we did try to, grab the ones. But again, because they weren't, at opposite ends of the spectrum, they're both pretty close. A lot of people are asking about Maple Street, so will this leave money for Maple Street? What we're going to do is I talked to the engineers, and we're going to spray patch the gravel cuts once it's done at the end of September, and that will hold it until next spring, and then we can take that money out of the fund next fiscal year, like May 1st, and actually repave that whole road. So that's the plan at this point.
You say repay, are we going to take it and tear it up?
Yeah, like redo it.
Sweet.
I love that.
But it'll be, spray patch, I mean, at least it won't be gravel, we'll
Well,
be
that's
constantly filling it
inexpensive,
in.
we're not.
It's
gonna drop a bunch
inexpensive,
of
it's
money in there.
something that, right, he said it could be $20,000-$25,000 and it'll should hold up to the spring. So we don't have to keep pouring gravel in it.
But that's not part of this bid.
No, it is not. We are going to ask them about doing the spray patching for Maple and also doing the drainage issue on Brookview once everything's awarded and they're on site and see if we can get a good deal. But we're also checking with like Midwest Asphalt, who's done our spray patching in the past. And then just doing Brookview on our own if we have to, but we are going to ask. Since they'll already be stabilized or on site.
Right.
And this project would start
Right away.
as soon as
I
the,
mean, because the deadline is pretty much November.
did we get this thing set up with the mailboxes and all that?
It's in process. I've been talking to the postmaster. Fred was buying the mailboxes and got the specs of how to, put it together height-wise. and
There's not
everything.
that many total.
I think it was six or eight.
Okay.
But I've already talked to the postmaster once. And he was going to get back to me, had some questions, and yes, so we'll work on it. The parking, it's going to depend on where Cross wants to stage. Once we know where they want to stage, then we can direct the residents of where the parking would be.
There was a question about the drives. Are all the drives going to be asphalt or concrete, or we're going to
We're
return
gonna
to?
do exactly
It's
what
like
they
for
were.
like, yeah.
Right.
Because that came up in the meeting, and there's ends up only being 3 driveways. And
Well, but one of those approaches, it's not being used.
one aggregate,
Yeah.
and
So is that gonna still be there? Or is there
the
a
one
need?
that's not used.
Yeah.
I don't
Is
know.
there a need for that? The one in between Godin's big apartment and the 2 that are hooked together? There's the one
Off
on the
in the
corner,
corner,
the one on
Fun?
the corner of,
Or
the one on the corner of Williams and Water, the big 3-story.
Oh,
Right to the east side of it, there's no curbing, it's just a
Well, that's
locked
for
driveway, but there's nothing there.
Williams and Water is down the
That's-
oh,
road.
you're talking about the
we're
break.
just talking about Washington.
I got you, never mind.
Okay.
That one will be bid out next week. Well, the water, replacement water, next, the 13th.
I think,
He's just.
I know what he's talking about. Just, you're talking about the concrete piece that drives up the back.
Yes.
You know what, that's private property back there. That was put in there because there's a hardware store there, and they did bottled gas.
Okay.
They did bottled gas in the past, and that's why that was put in there. That's all private property back in there. The only thing that's really public property is behind Ed Young's. That's
Okay.
the street. That's the street. The rest, that's all private property back there. You understand what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Sue?
I do.
Back behind the Sonic Lot, the Historical Society, Joe Hans's, what used to be a drugstore, that's all private property back there.
But I drove that section, and there's only 3 concrete driveways that will be replaced. There's 1 aggregate, and I think it was going to be offered, but they have to pay the difference.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
Actually, I think you need to plug in there who
Need to
Oh, I'm
write
sorry.
out
it's going to be awarded to and what price.
2 and for how much
Okay.
should the motion be?
Read the motion back, Cindy, and I make it.
Awarding bid for Washington Street reconstruction. Is your-
So 2 cross construction, 4, and then write the amount.
So you're gonna
The
make
six-
a
Oh, you did?
motion to award the bid to Cross Construction.
She's put it in there already, she just did.
Does he have to say it? though?
Yes, you have to
Yeah.
say.
you have to say it.
I've got it written down.
Yeah.
Okay, therefore, Council Member to award the bid to Cross Construction for the Water and Washington Street project to Cross Construction in the amount of $650,000, $560.95.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
You need a second on that?
Yes.
I second it.
Okay.
Call it.
McKinley,
Yes.
Testor,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
motion carried.
And motion for approval of task order with Maurer Stutz for the design engineering for the wastewater extension to I-74.
Second it.
Discussion?
This is just a study, is that right?
No, this is the design engineering.
Design engineering for it.
So that's why, I mean, first of all, it was over my cap, obviously, but I also wanted to, yes, we discussed it to move forward, but this is the first, actually spending money. So there, yes, as I state, $118,000 seems like a lot, but it's really only 6% of 2 million, well, just under 2 million, which is pretty standard for design engineering. I would break it up between water and sewer, so it'll be about 60 grand to each. There's money in different line items, I think would be okay. We could also pay it back when we issue a bond for the actual water sewer extension. So, because those funds are both, water's in better shape than sewer, but certainly don't want to spend it if we didn't have it. But I mean, we can take it out of the line items that exist and
Sure.
still be okay. So, I guess this is where the rubber hits the road. I've already talked to Mark about the electric. He's working with BHM&G and Verbal on first steps. They're doing some analysis of where they would hook on and all of that. So there may be some IDOT right-of-way acquisition or working with them on a utility easement. That is not covered in here, just so you know. So if there's a cost for that, that would have to be added into the construction cost.
Didn't they have some grants through the state for that?
Well, they have a grant that I looked into, and it's for roads only.
Okay,
It's not
I know it was
for
very
water
small, it
sewer extension.
wasn't much money anyway. Any other discussion?
When would they start doing that?
Right away.
Okay. And when would we get like results on it, or to kind
I don't-
of tell?
I don't remember if there was a
deadline.
deadline. You're probably looking at 60 to
months.
90 days.
Okay.
All right.
There is a certain,
Did you get it?
yeah, some
Yeah,
some
January. Well, I
estimated.
had 90 days in my head, so first part of
January.
January. Yeah. I knew I looked at it, I just hadn't refreshed my memory. I had the end of the year in my head.
The estimated building phases in March.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have,
Bidding, I'm sorry, not bidding.
I
I
would
didn't read it.
probably look to issue the bonds for next fiscal year. Start, you could always bid it out to start, May 1st.
Any other discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry, not that this affects it, but just FYI, I did talk to SB Friedman, who's been doing our market analysis for the property. And he says, no, we can go ahead and start marketing it now because most developers are looking at an 18 to 24 month window anyway. And so if we get some of this action taken by you, he wants documentation that we're actually moving forward and spending money, and then he can start going after developers.
That's good.
Perfect.
Good.
Now I'm done.
Call it.
Testor,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
motion carried.
Section 4 is executive session, we don't have anything for that. Section 5 will be the city manager's report.
The other thing I have is a reminder, late trash pickups this week is Friday because of Labor Day weekend. There's also recycling, but from Friday morning instead of Thursday. I did an analysis of the first quarter finances. Everything is right on target, anywhere from 16 to 27%. We're all under 25, so everything looks good there. And I'm meeting with the auditors Thursday to go over the first draft. Everything looks pretty much the same as the numbers I have, except there's some like journal entries they gotta make and some minor things, so I'm not expecting any surprises. But this is the draft that we're gonna go over. then they'll tweak everything and have it final, so. That's about all I have.
Anybody got anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Coffee?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
McKinley?
Yes.
Pastor?
Yes.
Motion carried.